we start with
Hi,
a,
Bruce. Hi, Julie.
a little something from Alan Watts. Let me get it up here.
You see, gratitude is not simply saying thank you for things. It is the recognition that you already have everything you need. When you feel grateful, you're not lacking. And if you're not lacking, you are no longer chasing. In that moment, you vibrate at the frequency of abundance. Because the universe doesn't speak in language, it speaks in resonance. And gratitude, our gratitude, is the song of alignment. So when you feel grateful, not for what's coming, but for what already is, you become a magnet, not for things, but for the energy that makes all things possible. That is abundance. You see,
Okay. I'll play
gratitude
it
is not
again.
simply saying thank you for things. It is the recognition that you already have everything you need. When you feel grateful, you're not lacking. And if you're not lacking, you are no longer chasing. In that moment, you vibrate at the frequency of abundance. Because the universe doesn't speak in language, it speaks in resonance. And gratitude, our gratitude, is the song of alignment. So when you feel grateful, not for what's coming, but for what already is, you become a magnet, not for things, but for the energy that makes all things possible. That is abundance. Lacking.
Okay. So what I wanted to do today is kind of unpack some stuff. Uh, it, this is such an essential teaching that this is good.
I know we're cutting our heads off. I'm trying to
Oh,
fix that,
okay.
darling.
Technical promises.
A little bit of that.
Okay. So what's he saying? When you think about those moments of awe, and we've been playing around with this all summer long, those moments of awe, ask yourself, do I want anything else? Is there any need? Is there any desire that's not fulfilled in that moment? That's why we talk about it as fulfillment, because I'm filled all the way up to the point I want for nothing else. These are moments that we have all the time. We tend to turn spiritual life into something supernatural when it's not supernatural, it's very much natural. It's a natural response that animals are having, children are having to life. It's unnatural for us not to feel awe in response to life. So we're going to look at the poem that we did last week, as kind of a model, because poets often are giving us theological treatments, particularly people like Rumi, like Hafiz, Khalil Gibran. It's not just a poem, it's a whole theological argument. So I want to retrace what he said, because he's talking to us about how to recover that ability to see, because what's blocking us from feeling awe right this moment is that we don't see the kingdom. That's what Jesus meant. It's here, it's right here. Everything you're hungry for, everything your heart longs for is in this moment. It's that's why it's so important we understand what the question is about. So it's not something that I have to add. It's not a discipline I have to get. It's not a wisdom that I need to seek out. No, it's that I have to learn to get out the part of my brain that I'm stuck in that's keeping me from seeing that abundance that uh, Alan Watts is pointing to. So when we hit that, when we feel that I am in abundance right now, I lack nothing, my heart opens in gratitude and I spill out. It's a natural response. So it's a matter of filling up, going out into life, feeling that sense of awe, and then in that abundance, letting my heart flow over into life. It's not a discipline in the sense that it's a drudgery. It's it's simply a matter of staying attuned to where am I in terms of my energy, which is why it's so important to go back to that felt sense that we were talking about, that the Buddha talked about, that Vedana, that first the physical body, then the energetic sense of, am I fully open right now to receive what's present? Or am I struggling? Am I stuck in my head? Am I stuck in resistance? Am I stuck in attachment to something else? So it's a matter of letting go. So let's go back through. For those of you who missed it, this is a little poem called The Accidental Mystics. And I love this because finding the sacred is not necessarily for most of us something we purposefully do. It's something we stumble on. And the difference between the people who become mystics and you is the fact that they took those little moments and they put it together and saw that it went somewhere. It went somewhere very important and they started paying attention to it. Whereas the rest of us had those little moments and thought, oh, well, that was very beautiful. I think I'll go somewhere else and have that moment in Sedona. We don't realize that it's a profound different shift in the way we look at the world. So Matt says, I think every human being eventually has a moment where they're standing outside in sweatpants that have lost the will to be pants, holding a trash bag, a divorce, a parking ticket, or some other receipt from the universe that says, surprise, this too is a part of it. And then the sky bruises purple, and the air touches your face like it knows your whole story. And suddenly you realize that all the real is actually unreal. So he's talking about these moments, I love that, where your pants lose the will to be pants, and you're standing there holding a trash bag with all your junk waving at the universe. It's a very humbling moment. It can be a moment of divorce, a moment of getting fired, a moment of your kids leaving, a moment of having made the wrong decision, but all of a sudden I'm there totally vulnerable, totally exposed, without a plan. And all of a sudden, I realized that all my devices for controlling the universe haven't worked and aren't working. It's not real. It's that moment in Matrix where they pull the plug out and he suddenly realizes that he's been living in a computer-generated matrix and that now he's really seeing what's real. And that's why these places that scare us, that we visit a little bit, are so important, because they wake us up. They wake us up to what's real. Gives us an invitation to see. He says the dirt, the breath, the weird little bones in your hands, the fact that we're here on a floating rock with pollen counts, paying bills, missing dead people, loving living people who see leaving now while still fully naked and looking for socks. We're not in a supernatural place. We're actually coming back to what actually is. We're getting grounded in our senses, grounded in what's real, not in the games that society has taught us to be engaged in all day, but the raw experience of what is happening now. And while I'm out here looking for socks, naked, fully exposed, not knowing what the next right move, I hate that phrase, and there's no fucking next right thing to do, people. That'll drive you crazy. What's the next? Do the next right thing. If you ever figure that out, come tell me. We'll write a book. We'll make $1 bazillion. Bunch of suckers. So what's going on during this time? Well, the moon clocks in. No applause, no benefits, no note from management saying, Great work being ancient and luminous again. Just the moon. Working nights like a single mother with no applause. Packing silver lunches for every dark thing that still has to rise. Look at life. Life doesn't have a purpose. We're always a purpose-driven life. Does the moon have a purpose? One of those Zen sayings, the goose does not intend to leave its reflection on the lake. The lake does not intend to reflect back the image of the goose. We're putting causality there. We're putting intention there. There's nothing there. There's isness. There's what is doing what it does for no external reason, unfolding out of its own nature, effortlessly, continuously, asking nothing, giving nothing, just unfolding. Tell me that isn't holy. Tell me there's a better word than sacred for the way the light keeps returning, with no guarantee we will actually stop and take note. No, it's the moon doesn't shine for your pleasure. The sun doesn't rise for your picture. No, that's not what's going on. I know people who believe in therapy and probiotics, in tarot and 12-step meetings, manifestation journals, and waiting exactly 11 minutes before texting back so they did not appear emotionally over-available, even though their whole nervous system is standing in the driveway, holding flowers. And underneath it all, every ritual, every doctrine, every smoothie with chia seeds, the prayer is the same. Please let me be loved. Please let me be forgiven. Please let this strange little life mean something before my lower back submits its formal resignation. All our devices to get recognized by the universe, to know we are loved, to know that we are lovable, to know that we are forgiven, that we're acceptable. Folks, it's not real. That's not what life is about. Find me something besides a human being that's caught up in that egotistical drama. Do you hear the ego, the self-centeredness, the total detachment from everything natural around you? Except for your dog. Dogs are a whole different thing. I haven't figured dogs out yet. So here we are playing this game to get accepted, to get recognized. But what is going on? For real though, what is this place? This unbearable tenderness, being alive long enough to watch steam lift from the coffee in winter, like a soul practicing leaving. I love that line. Watching the steam leave your cup, like a soul practicing leaving. To see a friend laugh so hard they slap the table, as if joy is a mosquito they're trying to kill. To hear a child say Piscetti, and for one shining second realize language has finally been improved. Okay? What's he saying? Saying, come back. Come back to this moment. Forget all the things your ego wants to do and stay present long enough to see what's happening in front of you. To see it with awe till the point that steam rising off your cup fills you with everything you ever wanted, to the point you want nothing more than to be present with your cup of coffee and to know that you're in eternity. I know I already noted this in the first piece, but the older I get, the less use I have for certainty. Certainty has never made me pull over because the sunset looked like God dropped a jar of peach jam across the whole Midwestern sky and decided to be lazy and not clean up. Certainty has never made me gasp at rain on hot pavement. Certainty has never found me in the cereal aisle holding Captain Crunch, suddenly remembering that everyone I've ever loved was made from stardust, hunger, and a series of decisions that we probably should have slept on. So he again, he's pointing is don't look to the ego, don't look to the drama, but don't look for certainty, don't look for answers. Don't wait until you know before you live. Live, and then you'll know. But you won't know in words. You won't know in words. You'll know in a sense of presence that is so concrete, so tangible, that words are inappropriate and unnecessary, and a form of violence to what's happening in that moment, to where you quiver with the isness, the presence that's in front of you, and wanting to maintain that sense of integrity with it. And where are we? We're in awe again. It's always been awe. Awe was the first church, before steeples, before committees, before men got involved, started making rules about skirts. Awe was there with its wild hair and muddy feet saying,
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
saying, look again, until looking becomes love. And I want to stop on this. Okay. A lot of my people have body issues. One of the things I'll tell them is stand in front of the mirror naked. Stand in front of the mirror naked and really look at what you see until you love it. Look at what you see until you love it. Now, why do I say that? Because love is not something different from truth. If you can't love what you're seeing, your judgmental mind is interfering with it. You're not seeing reality yet. When you can look and see it and love it, you're there again. You're back in awe. And it doesn't matter whether it's your body or whether it's your lover or whether it's your job. Sit and look until you love what you see. That's a huge spiritual discipline. Because it's natural to love what you see. It's unnatural not to love it. And we're not aware of the fact that we're unloving and that we're hating until we stand and try to see and realize, I can't see it. I can't see it. And then you're going to try to see it. The more you try to see it, you can't see it. And then there's going to come a time where you give up trying to see it, and guess what?
You're going to see it.
You're going to see it, you're going to love it. Okay? So, until looking becomes love, awe and soup. Awe and someone rubbing your back when you're sick. Awe and the old couple at Target arguing gently about avocados, as if marriage is not one vow but 10,000 errands performed beside the person who knows exactly how you like the cart pushed. Maybe gratitude was never meant to sound elegant. Maybe gratitude sounds like, damn, that woodpecker's trying to beat that tree off itself. Maybe gratitude sounds like, thank you, body, for continuing to drag me through this world, despite my many Slim Jims I've done to you at gas stations. Maybe gratitude sounds like, thank you to the dogs who lose their entire minds when we come home, as if we've returned from war and not Walgreens. Again, gratitude, fullness. Are we in the fullness of this moment? For me, that might be my gospel, that joy that does not wait for us to be impressive, but only needs for us to come through the door. Hear it. Hear what the poets are saying. Joy waits for you to come through the door, just like the dog. It's on the other side, but it's not indifferent to you in that sense. It's genuinely welcoming you returning to reality. They're in reality. Dogs are in reality. That's why I love every kid I see. I try to engage them and make eye contact because they already give up and they don't expect to be seen. We sit there like the dog going, can you see me? Can you see me? And what do the natives and the Aboriginal people, indigenous people in Africa do? When they come into the clearing, they've been out in the jungle, they walk in and they go, I am here. And the people in the village say,
I see you.
I see you. The poet Baudelaire said the forest looks at us with affectionate glances, which are spiritual glances. Can you live in that reality? Because the truth is, this life is devastating. It's ridiculous. 1 minute you're 22 and invincible, driving too fast, eating gas station nachos with the confidence of a Greek god. The next minute you're Googling, can sneezing cause hamstring injury? And the answer is apparently. Welcome to the second half of your life. But even now, growing tired, even grieving, even emotionally held together by iced coffee, playlists, and one very specific bowl of sooty, we keep trying to find reasons to stay soft. You could do worse for a spiritual quest. It's my spiritual quest. It's funny to find a poet defining it, not a spiritual teacher. Find reasons to stay soft. We plant tomatoes even though grief is real. We bake bread even though the news is on fire. We send photos of the sky to people we love with captions like, look, as if beauty is an emergency. And we're all volunteer firefighters. Don't you love that? As if beauty was an emergency. See how the heart wants to share in those moments. We can't contain it. We want to give it away. Love is nothing till you give it away, but you end up having more. We keep saying you have to see this because wonder is the oldest form of resurrection. That's why we come together each week. To experience wonder, to experience the wow, the resurrection of the spirit, so we can go back and do what we do as spiritual acts. Because does it end the war? No, it doesn't win the war. But baking bread mindfully in the presence of war, in the presence of ice, in the presence of ridiculous foreign policies, we're staying present. We're staying open. We're staying real. We're staying connected to what is real. And that's an act of defiance. That's a spiritual act. That is an act of resurrection. So here's the believers, the atheists, and the agnostics, and the people whose entire theology is just trying not to cry in the DMV line. Here's to the people clinging to faith, to the people clinging to Xanax and oatmeal, and the one group chat where no one pretends to be okay. Here's to the tender-hearted weirdos, the accidental mystics, the ones who can contemplate mortality for 6 straight hours and then become emotionally attached to a perfect beach. The ones who know that despair has a mouth, but so does laughter. May we never stop being drop-kicked by beauty in the middle of a Sunday afternoon. May we never become so polished that we forget how to stand in the Starbucks lines of existence with our dumb, gorgeous hearts open, feeling the enormity of it all rattle around in our bones like thunder, looking for somewhere to laugh. May we remember this: whatever mess, whatever miracle, whatever cosmic group project no one was prepared for, all of it is astonishing. That we're here, that we've loved enough to be ruined, that the moon keeps showing up and the bread exists. So pass on a piece. Tear off a piece with your bare hands, take it in as you take it down, and then go outside and look at that moon. So why do we meditate? Why do we meditate? Because meditation is a way of going, look, look until you love what you see. Not with effort, but with stripping down, layer after layer of wanting to control, wanting it to be different than it is, wanting a different channel. Life isn't the thing where you get 108 channels and you don't want to watch any of them. You got one. Only one. And you have 2 choices. You can either be at war with it complain about it, bitch, want it to be different than it is, or you can become curious. So let's go, Omi, bring us in and have a look.
I don't.
Okay, so um, one thing that really hit me while I was meditating is that um, you've got a very definite internal thing that'll tell you how well you're seeing, and it goes back to Alan Watts. Alan Watts said that when you're in that place of fulfillment, you resonate with abundance. And so what you experience in your body is that literally you start feeling like an instrument that's being played. And you will feel like, he used that phrase in there about standing in line at Starbucks and feeling all this energy rattling around in your chest, which is exactly how it feels to me, that the energy of life is resonating, it's stimulating me. And the joy, and I was reminded of a book of poems by Robert Bly called The Soul is Here for Its Own Joy. Man, that's it. Why are we put here? We're put here to feel the joy that comes with resonating with abundance. Because you know then that there's nothing outside of that moment. That's when you know that you're fulfilled. So think about, the feel of your lover touching your body and that thrill running through you and resonating you the same way that a breeze will blowing on the back of your neck, or the same way that a painting will, or the same way a piece of music is. It's not different. That you begin to see it's that those are all accidental, mystical moments. And begin to put them together and to see that that is the goal, that those are the moments. So what y'all got today?
I'm reminded of that story you used to tell. Maybe it was about a Swami or something, or who was it about that went shopping to look for all the things he didn't need?
Yeah, that was actually Socrates.
Okay.
His disciples caught him. He taught voluntary simplicity, and they caught him in the marketplace, and they said, what are you doing? Are you window shopping? He said, no, look at all the shit there is that I don't need. Yeah.
I'm in a group and we watched before we met a YouTube of David Brooks being interviewed by a priest. And it was in the title, it's numinous, what was his numinous mystical experience?
Yeah.
Because he has been brought to Christianity. And he's such an intellectual guy. He writes, he's a columnist for the Atlantic, and he's one of the people in my group who loves him because she was a professor of ethics and stuff at a college. And David Brooks touches upon this, and he's very intellectual too. And he said that, so the priest asked him if he was attending church, and he said he was in the process of church shopping, because when he started going to church, 8 years ago, maybe 10, this priest was just able to just grab his intellect and, just really, really brought him along. And there hasn't been a pastor that does that since. And he said he had a Catholic friend and said, "What are you doing? You go to the corner church and you make it work." You talk about simplicity. And then there was a story in that too about this guy who went to a workshop to learn how to pray better. And David Brooks, with his intellect, talked about he felt like he never prayed good enough because he would pray the same prayers and he didn't, and he thought he should be doing it differently and enriching it and all this kind of stuff. And so the guy that went to the workshop was going to share his new knowledge about better prayers with his devout mother. And she wasn't interested. And he said, well, all you do is a rosary. And she said, that's my time to look at God and to have God look at me. And I just thought, simplicity again, that was just beautiful. And I thought that's kind of what meditation is. It's simple. It's my time to do that. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, just
there were a couple takeaways from that I was thinking.
love that.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. No,
Yeah, thank you.
Many moons ago, I went to a very, well, he was like much older than I was. So to me, he seemed quite old. Not any longer, of course, but he was a Benedictine priest. And in one time, he told me, he says there's only one prayer. He said the only prayer is help me, help me.
Yeah.
Mhm. Pat?
Hi. We were, excuse me, my husband and I were at the family lake cottage in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan for a couple of weeks. And his family's had the cottage for 85 years. And then there are other parts of the family on different parts of the lake. But across the lake is was cousin, our cousin, I'm losing words and names at this point in my life. Anyway, Dick. All right, our cousin Dick. So we had a dinner engagement with him to go pick him up and go out to dinner. He's 94 and he spends a month by himself every summer at his cottage and shares it with his family at other times. Anyway, I read that poem to him because after the poem last week, I went online to find, who wrote it. It was a little confusing because there was a person named Patty Dye, D-I-G-H, and she's a poet in the South, and she somehow was identified with that poem as well. But I'll tell you, I must have sent it to 20 people this last week. And so Dick fell down. He falls down all the time and he gets hurt. And he still is just perfectly fine. Fell down, cracked 7 ribs, and slashed his arm open just walking out his back door. We had dinner plans at 5:30 and he told his daughter, well, maybe you should call and make it 6:30. He absolutely refuses to stop living. Just refuses.
Absolutely.
And so when I read the poem, we stopped on our way before we left that area. We stopped and just to see them, and I always like to give him a kiss on the lips because he likes that. and he just laughed through that poem. He loved it, and he is not missing one bit of brain. I mean, he's amazing. So we all have him to look to in the family, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But that poem, I thank you so much. I'm a poet too, but I write about sad things a lot. That poem is joy. It is really joy. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you.
Hmm.
That reminds me of that old T-shirt that says, I don't have a drinking problem. I drink, I get drunk, I black out, I fall down. No problem. Same way with old age, you can ask for now. I just went through with this inflammation of my trigeminal nerve. I lost my balance, and so I fell a lot of times. But it's just a matter again of getting up and going on,
Yeah.
and paying a little closer attention. So it's not a reason to sit in a chair and stop moving around. I like that. Change your dinner plan. Probably
Yeah.
should make it 6:30.
Yeah.
We got to take a trip to the emergency room, get some stereo strips. Yep.
Exactly.
Do
Joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
joy.
Cherry.
Y'all, I put the link to that poem in the chat again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good. I can't wait to read more of his stuff.
Yeah. I was able to go online and look at a few more.
He's
Right.
also a very talented artist. So if you go to his website, you can actually buy prints of his work. You can buy prints of this poem. He's a very interesting guy from
Yes.
Minnesota.
Yes.
He's incarnating some interesting energy.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, want to read you something as we close. We have a friend who owns the yoga studio in Texarkana, and she is had double mastectomy, and the cancer came back, and it's all over her body now. And I invited her to come to the gathering because she's in a lot of pain, and they're beginning to run out of options for her. And she said, I wish I could join you, but I'm in the middle of my treatments. We have a family gathering this morning at 11, so I have to squeeze everything in before getting ready for that. Thank you for offering. I have no doubt it will be beautiful. I said, sounds perfect on your end. We'll send you all our collective prayers. Love you. She says, I'm grateful to reunite with this side of the family. It's been 20 plus years since I've seen most of them. Funny how death and sickness will bring people close again. Love you all. And
Don't wait for that.
you don't wait for that. And one of the practices that I'm loving is people are throwing their wakes while they're still alive. And I love that. We had a maid
Party.
at our seminary, Brad, got a Willie B. And she said, don't give flowers to the dead, give flowers to the living while they can enjoy them. And so as we send out our joyous yacht to the universe today, let's include it for all the people who are suffering, who need to be lifted up, who need to be encouraged, as a celebration of the fact that they're here like the moon, with those countless acts of heroism of just showing up and making breakfast when you want to be in bed because you're hurt and you have to go to work, and you go through your day and quietly do what needs to be done. That's a love that is way profound, under-recognized. And I know you all do it. That's what I love about you, is that you do those quiet acts of love for humanity, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what the circumstances are. That's true courage. That's true love. So let's celebrate all of us in this.
Deep breath in.
Wow.
Wow.
Love you all so much.
You too.
So
Have
much
a great
more.
weekend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Safe trip back.
Thank you, Bart.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Thank you, Bart. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you more.
Love you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Hey, there's
everybody.
Dale. He's off the floor. Congratulations, buddy.